Hi guys, this is Leslie from the Knit Girls. I'm going to do a beading video because I'm working on a beaded project right now, and I've had a few of you ask how I pre-string my beads, so I'm going to walk you through it. We are in my craft room where we normally record the podcast. I am freshly showered and sans makeup, so I apologize for that, but I wanted to go ahead and get the video made because I'm ready to work on this project some more, and I can't do that again until I've actually strung the beads. So I thought I'd go ahead and get the beading out of the way and show you guys. So this is the project that I'm working on, and it is called Shipwreck, and it was from Knitty. I believe it was 2007. So it has 5,000 beads on it. It will when it's finished. And because I'm pre-stringing them, the beads end up in this nice open space here. If you were to crochet them on, first you'd be a very brave soul to crochet on 5,000 beads, but also let me fix that here. Also your beads, instead of ending up in this nice open space, would end up along the line here. And I just think that for the look of this piece, it looks nicer if they're just kind of free floating on the yarn overs. So, in order to pre-string a bunch of beads like this, you need to make sure first that your beads are going to fit over your needle, or over your yarn, I'm sorry. I'm actually using a super thin yarn. This is a lace weight in Shameless Twist is the name of the dye. I'm not certain what this base is called. I'm using size 8/0 beads. Let's see if I can find one where it shows the size. And actually, the larger the number, the smaller the bead, I'm pretty sure. So for this project, it's a commission piece, so there are 3 separate colors of beads, and I'm mixing them together as I'm putting them on. I'm putting them all into the bead spinner at once, and then however they get on the yarn is how they end up. So it's just a mixture of greens and golds, and there's some rose color in there. So that's the first piece you need. The second piece that you need is an actual bead spinner. There are 2 different kinds. This is the manual kind. It's sort of an older-fashioned kind, I guess, and it's 2 pieces. Yours may look a little different. There's the base, which this tapered end fits into, like that. And then there's the stem here, which you use to turn, to twirl it. And the beads actually go inside the shallow bowl here. Now, if you have an electric kind, I know they sell the electric ones at Joann's, Walmart, that sort of thing. It would probably just have the base part without the stem, and it would be have a motor attached so it would spin on its own. So it makes it a little bit easier. But really the manual bead spinner, they're beautiful because they're all handcrafted for the most part, and it's not that much more work. So if you have a local artisan who makes them, you should get one there. The last piece that you need are beading needles. The curved ones work best for the pre-stringing this many of them on. And what they look like is they look like a big hook. They're super thin, but also they have a center. This whole thing is an eye, and it opens like the eye of a sewing needle. So you can actually put your yarn through here, and I'll show you that part in a little bit, and then as the beads go onto the needle, they go right onto the yarn. So, sorry, there's my Swift over here. So this is what the beading needles look like. And you can get a pack of 2 beading needles, typically between $2 and $5 at your local yarn shop or craft shop. And those are the 3 parts that you need. You need your beads, you need your bead spinner, and you need a curved beading needle. This is how I do it. There might be another way. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to reposition the camera and show you guys exactly how I do my beads. So we'll see you in a minute. Alright, so I have my 3 tools. I have my beading needle, I have my bead spinner, and I have my 3 types of beads. So I hope you guys can see that. First thing that I do is I take the end of the yarn. I did have to cut the yarn, so I'll either do a Russian join or I'll just hide the ends in. And you have to open the eye of the needle. Again, I'm not sure how well you can see that. So you have to open the eye of the needle. Then you put your yarn through. I normally pull about 6 inches or so through just to be safe, but really it's personal preference. So now it's essentially like a threaded sewing needle. So for now, we're going to put this down. We don't need it right now. Now you're going to take the needles, or the beads, I'm sorry, and dump them in here. And do that for all 3 times. Out of 5,000, because I've knit this before, this pattern before, I actually tend to use about 1/4 of the beads at once. So normally about 1,200 beads I put into the spinner at once and thread on, because that's just a good number for me. It works for me. You don't want to overfill the bead spinner. I kind of just did, but we're going to pretend like I didn't. So you just want to kind of flatten it out, level it out. And then you probably want to take a knitting needle and mix these up a little bit. Here, I've got right here. Just kind of preliminarily mix them up a little bit if you have different colors. If you don't have different colors, this step really isn't necessary. And even if you do, they're going to get mixed up anyway, so this is just for my OCD tendencies. And yes, I'm spilling beads. I'm going to spill even more as we go along, so don't worry about that. It's alright, they're kind of mixed up. I'll put the ones that I spilled back in here. Alright, now it's time to thread the beads. So what you do is you take your needle here, and first you've got to decide which way you're going to spin the bead spinner. It's just really whichever way you're comfortable with. I can go either way, but I'm going to spin them going counterclockwise for me, and you have to put your hook in at an angle or in the direction that's actually going to catch them. So if I were to spin it this way, the beads would never get onto my needle because the hook is going the wrong way. So I'm going to hook my needle this way, and I'm going to spin counterclockwise for me. So actually getting the beads onto the needle is the tricky part, and you just have to play with what angles work for you. Some people, like to put it in kind of a straight angle. Some people like to tilt it this way or this way. I actually couldn't get this to work until Mr. Awesome figured out. For me, the best angle is kind of straight, but just a little bit downturned. So you just start spinning. And beads are going to go everywhere because this is a little full. But you see they just jump on the needle. And then I just turn it up a little bit, and the beads go right down the yarn. So I'm going to pick up the beads that I spilled, put them back in here, and I'm going to do it again. And just put it in, keep spinning. You're going to spill them, so just be prepared for that. That's why I have a white background on the bottom so that I can easily spot them. I was doing this in my living room, which has a wooden floor, which is not recommended because these things disappear on a wooden floor. Okay, so I've got, so far, in the 30 seconds or so I've been spinning, you can see I've probably got, I don't know, 75 or so, maybe a little less than that. And so I'm finished that. I'm just going to spin some more. But you just see they just jump on the needle. You just have to figure out what the right angle is for you. Some people work better with it straight on. Some people work better with it slightly tilted. Except the fact that you're going to spill some. It's okay. You pick them up later. And you just throw them back in there. So it's the last time I'll show you guys. So again, mine is straight on and just a little bit hooked down. And I just twirl, sticking the beads in right along the top layer of the beads. You don't want to stick it too far down. And you see they just jump right on there. So it's really easy to thread these quick. But again, I've already been through this once, so I already learned what the right level was for me. You just play with it until you get it right. So you just stick it in. I stick mine in right about the top layer, just a little bit under, and just spin. And they just hop on that needle. And of course I'm trying not to spill any in vain. So that's how you thread the beads onto the needle. I hope that was helpful for you guys. And if you have any other suggestions on what you think that I should do for my next little tutorial, just leave a comment. You can find me on Ravelry, You Don't Call Me Less, or right here on the blog, TheKnitGirls3ls.com. Thanks, guys.